it took a lot of courage for these families to speak because they didn't want to be judged. They were afraid. They were shamed.
For many Italian Canadians, moving to Canada before World War II meant new opportunities. Instead, 600 men were interned in camps in Canada after Italy joined Germany in 1940. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will issue a formal apology this month, a healing moment for many of these families.
The apology is important because it tells the families that somebody listened to their stories and that their life experiences mattered. And also the fact that they were able to tell these stories, they were able to finally do something for their parents that they could not have done back in 1940.
During World War II, Italian Canadian families and businesses struggled, and no one was held responsible. The Government of Canada enacted the War Measures Act and declared 31,000 Italian Canadians enemy aliens. 80 years later, the silence has been broken, but apologies and learning from what happened in the past remain important for Pilarella, who has been collecting stories from these families for over 30 years.
It removes that stigma that they had as either a prisoner of war or enemy aliens. And it goes toward showing people that, you know, these families, we've always been good Canadian citizens and we've loved this country. And right now, this apology is just about that.
The son of an internee remembers growing up in a household where no one would talk about the internment camps for fear of shame and judgment. DiPietro recalls his father lying during job interviews about what he had been doing for 2 years.
People would ask in the interview, so what happened during these 2 years? What were you doing? And now you'd have to sort of find a way to camouflage what had happened. Without lying, he'd say, oh, I took courses, I was not able to work, I was unwell, you know. It wasn't very pleasant, and my poor father tried to bury the story as much as possible.
Despite the wrongdoings, many families are grateful for the acknowledgement and for the upcoming apology from Trudeau.
There's a conclusion to it. The sad part about it for me is that the children have been the disappearing layer of the story. And so it's sad because there's a lot of people that I wish were here to be part of this event.
Oh, my dad would have, he would have been pleased. He's not the type that would have had a big party or anything. My uncle might have. He died in 94. He was a little more, he would have probably played his fisarmonica and had a big glass of wine, you know, and had a few friends over. But no, they would have kept it pretty much in their heart.
In Montreal, Melina Jubilaro, City News.